it shows you how much they care for them. Once they have served their purpose and put their lives in danger and been damaged.
I saw a sign the other day of a homeless person in Manchester, and he had all of his, all of his tours of duty as a soldier listed, and he was begging on the streets with a duvet around him.
Is it fair? It isn't fair. And it's been the same in the Canadian market too. They've been cutting back on services to ex-servicemen, no end, until some of them who have illnesses, mental problems, now have to travel as far as 40 miles to get some sort of attention to
Ian Duncan Smith, as he can put them on one of his workfare programs. You say we are creating another lost generation.
Yes, yeah, because the young people today, they have no future. Most of them are working 0-hour contracts, which is another abomination, which only puts more money into the hands of the already rich people. And food banks are proliferating, while starvation amongst children is increasing. Going back to my day, until the teachers in school objected to their young pupils fainting in class from malnutrition, the government didn't move a finger. After that, they decided that they will allow a small glass of milk about that big for each child who was indigent. And I remember walking to school, my belly crying out for food, and that little bottle of milk was in my eyes, and I was just longing to get to school to drink that bloody bottle of milk. It was an hunger which people haven't experienced it. Not enough people.
Austerity, with this austerity program, the government sanctions workfare, work capability tests, punitive punishments for the poor, low-paid workers, the disabled, the sell-off of public services. Austerity is ideological.
Yes, and when you come to think of it, you know, the 2008-9 crisis started all that, and it wasn't the people who were to blame for that financial collapse. It was the bloody bankers. And do you think they got punished? They didn't get a slap on the wrist. Their bonuses came up just as regularly as anything. But it gave the leaders of the country an opportunity to introduce austerity, which they have hammered at and hammered at until it's just a ghost of its former self.
But the poor will always pay for the mistakes of the bankers, of the rich.
Well, yes, that's a sad thing. I mean, many of those bankers who instigated that situation in 2008-9 should have been thrown into jail. They should have been made an example of. But it's the old thing. You have the money, you don't have to.
But this austerity, they call austerity, but they cut corporation tax, increase the how much inheritance tax for the richest, tax breaks for millionaires. George Osborne signed a Swiss bank tax evasion deal, letting people off who have Swiss banks from tax evasion, which is a crime. That's not austerity for them, is it?
No, of course it isn't austerity. And you'd be surprised how many people are involved in that. I mean, all these big American companies who peddle coffee and what have you, they pay very little in taxes. They make billions of pounds, and their wealth is shipped offshore. the country doesn't benefit from anything that an overseas country brings into this country. There is not enough people being taxed at all. But the government never forgets to tax the ordinary worker.
That's the problem, isn't it? Because the ordinary worker, they get taxed on their income, not their profits.
No.
Whereas the big corporation, they say, well, we haven't got any we've spent all our money. We're growing.
Oh yes, yeah. It's all.
Why don't they
fiddle.
tax the corporation's
But
income?
You see, if a government hires an outside, what do you call these people who, financial wizards, they hire a company.
Like Deloitte or PricewaterhouseCoopers.
Yes, yeah, that's right. They hire those people to do the taxes. And of course, those people know they're put there in order to take taxes from the lower classes, but to be very easy on the upper classes, you know.
You're talking about accountants, aren't you?
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's...
And accountants that work out the tax, they work for the government and for the accountancy and for the corporations.
In the old days, the government themselves had a financial section, and they did all the taxes for the whole country, so that no one got away with what they get away with today.
How can what's your vision of the future, or what would be your how can we get a stronger democracy? How can we get a fairer, more equal society?
The only way we can get it is when the ordinary people wake up to the realization that they have it in their own power to change things, but they have to get up off their asses and make sure that they vote in all elections, whether it's local or government or the big one.
But they're so powerful. Take that woman last night who was crying, who voted Tory. Can you even imagine the amount of propaganda, the amount of TV is God, the messages that the right wing, that the corporations, that understand the amount of power that they have?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, the people have been so downtrodden now. They feel that it's no use. Why should I bother? Nothing's going to change for me.
But we can change things.
We can change things, but we have to do it en masse. We have to get everyone electrified to the extent where they're going to say, we are going to get out of this shitbox.
We have to get everyone electrified.
Yeah, that's it.
How old are you?
I'm 92. I'll be 93 in February. But
Has that gone quick? 92 years?
Life always goes quick. It's a lifetime is like the blink of an eye. By the time you get there, you wonder where the hell it went. You know, and this is what we have to be aware of, because I was lucky because I was able to build up a period of life which made me feel good. It was a time when you paid a decent wage. It wasn't enormous, but you knew that you could pay your rent, you could save a little money to buy a little house, and consequently your children, university charges were a hell of a lot less than they are today. So it was a good, smooth life for ordinary working people.
What would you say to a young person, a young girl, a young boy, 18 years old?
I would say, first of all, not to them. I would like to see schools and teachers teaching history previous to 1992, which is the present day history they teach, They don't teach any history before 1992 in schools and universities for some bloody reason. But if they went back to the 20th century, from 20th century up, the kids would be able to see how life had changed in that period of time, and maybe give them a boost of energy to try to make sure that that early period didn't exist, but that central period where we had a life, and we were a happy people because we had everything that we needed. We could go on holidays, you know. I travelled with my wife and family. In fact, in '67, I took the whole family to Barbados, you know, and it was unbelievable. But today, families have a hard time taking them to a cottage, you know. It's